How are you?
Hey, good afternoon.
Buenos dias. And I like the. Oh, you had that background last time, but I'm not
Yep,
sure if all,
yep,
all three flags were on last time, but that just could be.
yep.
Yeah, move,
Yep.
move. Go lean to one side. Let me see what you got on there for rims now. Those are pretty
No,
nice.
not you. That's brushed aluminum.
Yeah, they look
So
like nickel or something like that.
yeah, as you are not the only expert that likes to troll the
Oh,
marketplace,
I'm a rookie.
it started off because there's a lot of brake dust that I get on these. It's a heavy. I mean, when you're pushing around 1,200 pounds
Yeah,
and you got multiple brakes, you really gotta stop on a dime with this puppy, this tank.
yeah,
You get a lot of brake dust on it. So I
yeah.
started talking to my buddy, and he's he started telling me about how. Well, what do you want to get? You want to paint it? You want to?
Hi.
Hey, there she is.
Good
There I
afternoon.
am.
How are you?
How are you, Jay?
I'm outstanding. Happy Sunday. Carlos was just we were just talking
Happy
about brake
Sunday.
dust.
Yes.
Huh?
Happy after
We were talking
after
about
after
brake dust.
brake dust as our enemy there,
What's
and
that?
Yeah.
it's something that you'll see
But
on
gum.
your on your on your drums on your brake as that little device that helps you stop so you don't collide into the other vehicle there.
Yeah, who needs that?
Yeah, who needs that?
Break dust?
That's correct. Take a look at your brakes next time when you come to your tires. Take a look at either the front or what do you as you brake and as the pads wear down. There's a
Yeah.
fine amount of dust that comes off of it, and it depends if you don't maintain the wheel and everything. It does get up and it starts wearing down on the rims and everything. So everybody has it because you brake, and when you brake, it does send off this dust. So take a look at your tires next time and look at the rims, and you will see where the
Wow.
brake pads apply. You will see probably an inch of brake dust.
Okay.
Yeah.
An inch.
Well, if you haven't looked at it in a while and you've had that bike for a while, I'd say you probably got a little bit of brake dust. Mr. Mike
Wow.
Considine.
Yo,
Hello,
Mike.
hello, everybody.
How are you?
Good, good. How's everybody doing?
Hi.
Spectacular on this Sunday. The topic du jour in the lobby as we start off our show today, Mike, is brake dust. How much do
Brake
you
dust.
have, and where can you find it?
and Eddie just said, brake dust? I don't have no stinking brake dust, you
Yeah,
know?
that was a quick response. It was good.
I said that to her, is that a fact? Well, then I guess you haven't been stopping
Yeah,
anytime
right.
soon.
Engine braking. She we talked about this in a prior episode. Eddie is a firm believer in engine braking. She doesn't even have brakes on her bike, right?
That's right.
Brakes
She
are
used.
great. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah,
I have to
Any
admit, I
braking.
use
yeah.
engine braking quite a bit myself, and my brake dust is minimal.
I haven't really noticed, and I just had all my stuff serviced. My the bane of my wheel existence is rust on my spokes. They're pretty, but trying to keep and until my garage is finished, even with a cover on my bike, you're still getting moisture and stuff like that up there. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, on a
You know,
car's a whole other story. I mean, I've had cars I've owned where cleaning the brake dust off the rims was like, a second job.
Jay, I didn't want to scare you the last time
Yeah.
because being that you have a Sportster with a spokes and the old school of spokes, the concept was, especially in the city in New York, because there's so many potholes and
Oh
so
yeah.
many things. There's something the old school guys would tell me when I had my Heritage Softail, and I had spokes on it. He said, "You got to test it out." I said, "What do you mean test it out?" He says, and the guy who spoke to me, he's got this raspy voice. So he had to go, you got to go with a little hammer. What? I got to go with a little hammer. You got to touch each one. What are you talking about? You got to listen to each one. And I was like, yeah, he's had a little bit too much. Yeah, but
Brake
he was old
dust.
school. but he was old school that he would just say you just had to tap each of the spokes or manually touch the spokes to see if the pothole you hit, and because you have spoke, it could possibly drive that spoke through. So you want to check on it. And then he had a little tool that he would
Oh,
that he
wow,
would
that's pretty
that he
cool.
that he would tighten it up. So I said, "Ooh, okay." I didn't
Yeah,
want
good
to.
to
Now
know.
I started writing, thinking, "Oh man, I got to not only check the tire pressure, but I got to check these. I don't know how many spokes are on this tire, but I'm going to be there all day doing."
Yeah, there was a point. Well, I appreciate it too. And you guys, there was a time. So he tells me this story, and I'm immediately out there on my bike checking each one of my spokes and dinging each one of them with a. I don't have a tiny spoke hammer yet, but trying to go around and check them. And we have family bicycles, pedal bicycles, and for our listeners and anybody viewers who don't know, we live pretty close to the ocean, and everything here, anything that's metal here rusts like immediately. So it's kind of like old rusty bikes are kind of a sign of you're a townie type of thing. So like our bikes are very rusty, and Wyatt blew a tire a couple weeks ago, and it was on my bike, and the spoke went through the tire, and that's how he blew it. So that was right around the same time that you told me the story. So I was like, oh shit. And I had him check for all that. When I talked to when I don't think I mentioned this last week, but when I had my bike 20,000 mile service on it, the dude who took care of me at the Harley dealership, we looked at the tires, and the tires were brand new on the bike when I got it roughly 3,000 miles ago. And he said, after you take your Vegas ride, come back, and you probably should start looking at least a new front. You might need a new rear or whatever too.
Tire?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah. So I have I don't know if it matters. I have a very narrow like bicycle tire, like chopper kind of tire on the front of the bike. It's more narrow than most than you're gonna find at any other Sportster, and it's part of that like 72, that classic look I think they probably did. But some people have told me, and I don't know if this is true, that it handles poorly. That you've got less rubber on the ground, so you're making less contact, less braking power. You really should have a wider tire. You're feeling everything on the road, that kind of stuff. So anyway, but yeah, they did say.
But does that chopper tire wear faster than a regular tire then?
I don't know, and I have You know what I have? I got this thing here. I don't know if you guys aren't gonna be able to make it out, obviously, but this is like the little service thing. And on here, like he got in there with the tread depth on the front was 5/32, and on the rear was 7/32. And there's no rear number 2 because I don't have a tri-glide.
Huh.
And this is Meep who's messing around with the little Guardian bell that came on my bike that the previous owner left on it. So anyway, yeah, tires, that's something like when I do replace it, I think as cool as the spokes look, I think I might switch to a different kind of rim that's a little bit easier to maintain and less tedious. I don't know. Is that sacrilege?
You gotta find out, Jay. Now the old school, the rims, you had to adjust the spokes, and you had two tires because you couldn't seal the rim because of the spokes. But now a lot of rims have spokes that are just visual. They're not like the old adjustable spoke. So that's why you can have a regular tubeless tire, and you don't have to adjust them. They're all mounted in place and they're steady. So
I'm trying to look at a picture now, right now.
I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
And the other thing with the tires is
how would I know though? How would I be able to tell easily? And I'm trying to look at
you could ask them
my
if
tire
you have
right now.
tubes or not. You could ask them if you have tube tires or tubeless.
Yeah.
And when you look at them, you'll see like they're not adjustable. They're just casted.
Okay.
They're just for the look.
Yeah, and basically the difference would be that little bolt, or not bolt, the nut, what is essentially on the bottom, that would have to be adjustable, right, in order for them to be.
Yeah, the top and the bottom.
The top and the bottom, right? Okay.
One. And that I don't even know if they make them anymore because they were so problematic.
Sounds like it.
And that's why that old school guy was there telling me when I had my Heritage, because it still had the old school there. So like Mike said, that later on performances. That's what I'm saying. Your unit, your year bike was
Yeah.
older school, and the newer ones, it has the old school look, but it doesn't have the old school issues.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
I mean, like those bikes would have drum brakes front and rear.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you had to plan way ahead when you wanted to stop.
Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely
The other thing too for your tires is the tire manufacturer a lot of times on their website will tell you what the depth of the tread should be when you should think about start changing it.
Okay.
And they'll tell you like when you get down to like 2 millimeters, right? Then you shouldn't go over 60 miles an hour or something like that because now the tire is starting to lose its integrity.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
start looking for a change.
I err on the side of I'll probably err on the side of caution, and
yeah. I mean, and you're gonna find tires. Some tires are stickier than others. Some tires wear out faster than others, depending on the brand.
Yeah.
Usually I'll do 2 back tires for every front tire.
Really?
When I change, because all the weight and the power is on the back, and the front is usually light.
Huh.
And the
Interesting.
tread takes longer to wear.
All right. Well, that's
good. More on the back.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. It's a few minutes past the hour here, and we might as well get right into it, right? Because this is episode 7. Get the little jingle to start us off with. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. So. Yeah, I cut it too soon for Carlos to dance there. But before we dive into this, is episode 7, Bat Country. Very special day today, and despite I'm trying to like curb my enthusiasm because I'm like bursting with excitement because my week just got crazy all of a sudden. We'll get to that in a minute. Before we dive into the full agenda or the full show, we've got on the topics today. We've got Vegas Run. My relationship with Taylor Swift. We want to talk some road trip stories and things to do in the desert when it's wet, and really pick up where we left off last week and have a little bit of fun with this episode and talk about going on the road and staying on the road and what kind of experiences we've had and what kind of essentials to have with you, etc. And we left off with that last week, and since last week, I've got a trip planned this coming week, but the weather has thrown a wrench in things, and I may have to leave a little earlier than expected, which is going to give me more time to adventure out in the desert. So that's going to be what we've got to discuss. Before we get into that, very special day today, Mike. I hope you're not going to hate me for this, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, today's your birthday, correct?
Yeah, today's my birthday.
Yes,
Happy birthday.
So let's sing.
Happy birthday, Mike. Happy birthday to Mike. Happy birthday, dear Mike. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Most impressive.
Mike, and you're on behalf of Old and in the Way, I made a $25 donation to the Wounded Warrior Foundation. I've got a little image or whatever they give us, and I don't have the technical ability to project it right now. But so happy birthday!
Thanks.
Hope that you have a fantastic day. You got anything planned to for today? Are you doing anything? Going anywhere? I know you guys got your asses kicked with a storm last week, so.
Yeah, no, it's almost all gone now.
Yeah.
It's pretty much melted. We went out and did stuff yesterday.
Okay.
So
the
girls are all heading back to college today, so the weekend is quieted down and it's getting back to normal.
Yeah, fare thee well. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that because my 17-year-old is getting lots of things in the mail for colleges and is starting to act like she's 20, and I might need to tap into some of your wisdom. Well, it's another show, different episode. But all right, well, happy birthday. I hope it's a fantastic one, and congrats on another trip around the sun. Right?
Thank you.
Excellent. So let's talk about what's been going on. Carlos, Eddie, Mike, what's going on? What'd you do this past week? Any riding? I know the weather's been iffy and stuff like that. You guys get out and do anything exciting?
I didn't do anything on the motorcycle yet, but I went on a 6.5 mile hike.
Oh, shnikes.
In the woods, in the snow, and now I've been paying for it for 2 days. I can barely walk.
Did you have like?
But the upside to it was I was able to stay with the group I was with, even though most of them were much older than I am, and it was very embarrassing.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
there were more than a few hearing aids in this group.
Yeah,
And
the silver sneakers,
color coordinated walking sticks and ice cleats, and I was like, yeah, I am not getting left behind. But I was very happy to see that parking lot when we finally finished.
Was there like, how was the terrain? Like, was it like, was it packed snow?
It was extremely hilly.
Yeah.
Very, very hilly, snow covered. You know, it still had the snow in the tree line, and then where the snow had melted or got crushed down was mud and slush, which was really slippery. I didn't fall either, so that was the other thing. I was making sure I was trying to keep my pants clean the whole way.
Yeah. And you end up getting dusted by somebody who's like 85 at finish.
Yeah, pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
They're all talking while they're walking. I'm thinking like, don't talk to me. I could either walk or I could talk. I don't have enough oxygen to do both.
Yeah. We lived up in Torrance. This was like maybe 6-7 years ago. I started running 5Ks more frequently, and they would have them like every so often on the beach. So real easy, just up in you start at the pier, you run a mile and a half down, a mile and a half back. And the first one I did, I'm feeling good. I'm out there. I'm making my way. You can see the pier. It's coming. I'm making my way back. I'm thinking I'm placing well, and then I get dusted by like a little kid in like no sneakers, just running barefoot on the sand, and I like just completely smokes me, and I'm like, this little like there's no, he must have snuck in somewhere. Like just as soon as you start to feel like somebody reminds you that you're fat and slow. But yeah, so that's good. So you did some hiking. That's excellent. Still winter weather in the Northeast. Eddie, how about you? Did you get out at all?
Yeah, I mean, I've been riding like little commuting, like I commute sometimes.
Yeah. How was St. Patty's Day in the city this week?
Yeah, it was.
How was it? Was it wild?
I mean, I live in Astoria. I could barely tell.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's a little bit more muted celebration. I noticed a lot of people in green and a few drunks and stuff like that.
Yeah, just another day.
Yeah, stumbling around. It's not. Yeah, it's not. St. Patrick's Day is not a huge festivity down here this close to the U.S.-Mexico border, as you probably can imagine. But it's the Irish people still come out in force.
But Eddie, didn't you have tell us about what they did on Saturday at the dealership? Didn't they have like a show there?
I didn't work yesterday. They didn't need me.
No kidding.
Oh wow. Okay.
I wasn't there, so I'm thinking they had some kind of workshop.
Yeah, what they do.
What do they do for workshops?
Well, I'll defer to Eddie, or else I'll add in there.
I'm not sure.
The dealership started having to get more enthusiasm, more folks to come in. So on Saturdays, they started having, creativity as to what you can do with your bike. What can you do with the ride? Now, one of the topics that they had was about radio.
Oh, yeah.
Improving, like taking your bag or taking your touring bike. How can you enhance it? And it basically gave a course to say, this is a radio, this is a woofer,
they have suspension workshops too.
Yeah, what they want to do is, so now they took it to one level of saying, okay, here's your basic 1, 2, 3. This is what you can get out there. Then another shop was okay, how creative you want to be. Do you want to cut this, tour that, or performance? And basically it's to get ideas for a couple of hours. The ladies are there to help out, and the guys are there and it's just it's a nice way for those who either want to know about a little bit more. I got a little bit more out of it when I went to the radio communications, because I wanted a little more about my fairing, what can I do, what I can't do, and other shops there. But it's a nice way to try to encourage folks to, if you're not sure or you're kind of hesitant, to take advantage of these workshops from their actual guys who either install it or know more enough about it to point you in the right direction.
That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah.
I think I misunderstood the question. I thought you asked me what the workshop was yesterday. I could have. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't know what it was yesterday. I
And
could
this
have
is not
told
something
about,
that
yeah, a
all
little bit about
dealerships
what
do,
the
though.
workshops are about, but I'm not sure what they were doing yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. It's not something I know. Like, I live in an area, and I don't. Actually, let me ask: where is the New York City Harley Davidson? Where is it geographically located?
On Northern Boulevard
Oh,
in
so
Long
it's in
Long
Island.
Queens,
Long Island
Yeah.
City and
Long Island
Queens,
City.
yes.
Okay, yeah. All right, cool. All right, so that's awesome. So, like, I think a lot of people, like myself included, have this, like, when you say New York City Harley Davidson, like, yeah, I started like Times Square and worked my way out.
It used to be downtown.
Well, they have a
Store, yeah.
store.
San
It's
Diego's got
more.
that too.
It's got that more of a what I call it the tourist stop because the
Yeah,
tour buses pass by it and oh look you can get it and I remember once trying to get a T-shirt they said no go to the Long Island City thing yeah you know they'll take care of you here over there because over here it's really more for folks to get that quick
tourists.
look and you know before you get back on that tour bus and you want to grab something quick, you know, there it is, New York City. But service, dealership, and everything is in the
Queens.
Long Island City area. Yeah,
Yeah, there's San
Queens
Diego
area.
Harley Davidson, which is in San Diego, a little bit north of the city. They have a satellite thing at down by the seaport, like where Comic Con and everything is down there. That's
Yeah, get
just a
that
shop.
T-shirt
Yeah,
and
you
get
saw it.
that
You were
thing.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah. But like where we're at San Diego County, there are 5 Harley Davidson dealerships that are all within like a 45-minute ride of where I
Wow.
am. So there's
well,
Biggs, there's El Cajon, there's San Diego Harley Davidson. There's Coronado Beach Harley Davidson, and I think there's one more. So the reason why I mentioned that is like the activities of like which each dealership does and like the kind of culture of the different hog groups in each of the dealerships is like a little bit different. And without getting into an entirely different conversation, like San Diego is geographically like there's the beach towns, and then there's like the East County, which and then there's all this other stuff. So it's
Hmm.
it's kind of neat, and it's like so for me, I'm spoiled because I can kind of look and see what's going on around and pick and choose like different things I want to do. So I'm lucky. But workshops are one of the things I haven't seen too much that I would like to like more time with actual experts trying to help. I could watch YouTube
what's the
videos all
travel?
day, but
What's the traveling distance for you to go? Because, and I say that because in New York we have the New York City Harley Group. Then you got New Rochelle,
yeah,
okay. Then you got Nassau County, Harley. You got Suffolk County. So that's four. Then you got in Staten Island. You have a Harley. So that's all within you know five. That's right then and there. It's like 5 dealerships.
yeah,
And then if you really want to
Hmm.
get going, some guys go to Bergen County, New Jersey, and each is because it's got its pluses and minuses. Whether more parking, less parking, more convenient, less convenient. Staff that you knew that used to work at shop A are now working shop B, or vice versa, you know, and that's the availability of
San Diego
what
County's big, and I mean, if I just like ballparking it without trying to bring up a map, I could drive, and I am in the geographically the southwesterly most point of the continental United States. So I am in the bottom left corner of the country. But if I drive, due north, I can drive for an hour probably before I'm in. I guess it's Orange County or whatever. What's above us? I don't know. And so that's like I don't know how that compares to New York, but I can drive an hour north or an hour east and still be in San Diego County. So that's
Wow.
it's
wow,
pretty big. Um,
yeah,
but there's
I
also
think I
like
would.
there's a huge chunk of that's like basically like at least 25% of that, if not more, is all mountains, which is not uninhabited, but that's not like the dealerships are still relatively concentrated in a smaller area of that San Diego County
you,
space.
you I think you do you get newsletter because one things that you see in the newsletters that they're pretty much I think it probably comes down from the Harley corporate office. They give them a general idea of if it's
Yeah,
St. Patrick's, how do you take advantage of it? This is the theme, and they all
yeah.
pretty much
Our
got
dealership did a.
the
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupt.
yeah, no, go, and they follow that same format
Yeah,
where pretty much they might be having shop workshop today, and then the other dealership, so that they don't have issues. you'll see maybe that week or the following week they may have something, St. Patrick's, or they may have a special charity run or something. And then that's when you really see, like, I think on this coming Saturday, a week from this Saturday, our Harley chapter is going to have the first bike blessing.
Oh yeah.
So all the
Yeah, I want
members
to
will
ask
come out.
about that bike blessing thing in a second. I want to just
The water burns when it hits my skin. I don't understand it.
Hey, whatever. I'm an atheist, but I'm also superstitious. If that makes sense. But so
maybe the father, when he was throwing,
I'll take
that
what I
stuff,
could
he
get.
really...
Yeah, exactly. Right. So for our benefit for the cast, and by the way, I almost forgot to say this, and I have to go back. Our Nooms is not with us. El Jefe de Sonido is traveling. He mentioned this last week. He's going to see his family down in Missouri. And if I had the sound effect, I'd play that right now because that's how. And his wife Jen and her in-laws would all appreciate that, I'm sure. So he's on his way to Missouri, or he's there now. Hope he has a good week. We're going to get into the road tripping stuff in a little bit, but I just want to say, this is exactly meandering conversation about all things motorcycles is what I envisioned this show being about, and I'm working on getting better on sticking to our overall time. But I love going down these rabbit holes and talking about the different things.
So, on behalf of Scott, who's not here, I'm going to bring out my my placard here to remind.
So let me pitch you on a future episode then, and then tell me if you think this is so. I'm hesitant to bring this up because I don't want it to sound like I'm not interested in this from a gossip or scandal or sleeping dogs or skeleton standpoint. I'm interested in the organizational psychology and dynamics because that's what I do for a living. And what I mean by all this is that when I bought my Harley, I immediately started to look for Hog, and having Carlos in my life, I've been well aware of Hog and was like, okay, let me get connected. You of course suggested, and I'll fast forward, but my dealership where I bought my bike from does not have an active Hog chapter. They did at one time. They're currently named one thing, Coronado Beach Harley Davidson, but they've only been that name for a few years. Before that, they were Sweetwater Harley Davidson, and they had the oldest Hog chapter in California. So wow. Something happened. The dealership, I know, changed ownership a few years ago, and it was bought by somebody who owns 6 or 7 Harley dealerships in the Southwest between here and Phoenix. And it's part of like a group, a conglomerate of Harley, like Wise Riders or something. I've had an absolutely fantastic experience, and I write it in every survey I get when I go in there. They've done me very well. But there's something weird about the Hog dynamic. And when I finally, I didn't want to push on it, but I finally, like, one of the guys in the dealership, his office has got Hog shit in it from floor to ceiling. And I asked him, like, in front of his office one day, like, do you guys have an active Hog chapter? And he was like, no. And I kind of sat there like, okay, so, and he's like, well, the San Diego chapter from San Diego Harley Davidson comes down here a lot. And they come and they do, like, they call it like I think like a church service type of thing on Saturdays, where they come down. So they work together, but there's some, like I said, we could talk about this in another episode. There's some dynamic where
let me.
Yeah, go ahead.
What happens? And the short end of it, and I'm going to get into something else in it, but the short end of it, I've been with that dealership maybe 30 some odd years, 35 years or so. And I've been through the thick and the high and the low of it. And I've seen people come and go. And what happens with the Hog dynamics, and you only get a real chance to see this because there's what they call Hog primary officers training. That's the opportunity where they send the officers, the main 3 officers of a chapter, and they go to a special training that is sponsored and blah, blah, blah. And that's when you really get to see what a Harley group should be.
Yeah.
And when you're seeing an owner of a distributorship sitting down with the common folks and they say they ride, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's what happens is the dynamics of a dealership just becomes a purely commercial venture.
Right.
And it doesn't, and when you have an owner that says, and you ask them, do you ride? They say no. And to them, it's just an investment.
Yeah.
Then it becomes the issues. And the other thing is a lot of members don't realize when you join a Hog membership, you may like, I may nominate you, and I may not like Mike, I may like Eddie to do these roles. and we all agreed it. But if the dealership doesn't like you, even though we voted for it, it doesn't matter because the hog chapter belongs to the dealership and they have the final say so, which sometimes could be an issue if in the because that's ultimately that dealership is responsible. Now, if they want to have 100 customers at their beck and call, they will just rubber stamp everything that they do and say, have a nice day. We don't care. To do what you want.
Yeah, it seems weird that they would have that, like, because it's a franchise business, right? I mean, or something to that extent. They're not, so something like that. So
the chapter doesn't belong to me, even though I was a director of it. So let me go quickly. You were asking before. I did the other day 2 things. The other day I did a 118-mile run, ride with, and I was going to all sorts of places. And what I found interesting, and doing this 118, I did a historical old bridge. Then I went to this nature waterfalls. Then I stopped in at
where? What waterfalls?
Patterson.
Okay,
Falls.
Right.
And then I went to Bergen County to get my dealer submission, and which I'll comment to you. It was nice seeing you taking your picture in front of the dealership and putting there. What I want to do is I put that ride together by playing with Google Maps, and it wasn't anything exotic. It started off with, I think I heard about this old Mike, this bridge that I went to, it's called Quaker Bridge, and it's up in the town of Cortland. Okay, Croton on the Hudson.
Croton?
It's in that neck of the woods.
Oh, yeah, I know Croton.
So I went up in that neck of the woods, but let me tell you, those people haven't paid to have those roads paved. So, it was a good, I think if we were on a 2-wheeled, you would have been like, that front fork would have been like this. Thank God I had 3 wheels. What I want to give a shout out to.
I would need a spoke hammer.
Right.
I'm going to use this. I doubt it. But if there's anybody from town of Cortland or Croton on the Hudson, I want to thank you guys for helping what you think was a distressed biker. Because not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 separate strangers came up to me, and said, "Do you need assistance? Are you okay?" And I was, and I'm completely garbed up.
Yeah.
I got my goggles. I think I look like the biker Invisible Man that you can't even see if I have a big smile on my face. And each one of these, so to the town of Cortland, Croton on the Hudson, kudos to you guys helping out, which is great. Just helping out a biker who was not distressed and was not needed help. So thank you.
I was coming home yesterday on this road called Imperial Beach Boulevard, and it's just potholes, and like it's been a very rainy season here, so they're not as bad as the potholes are in the Northeast. The pothole crews here they don't exist, so it's kind of gets bad for a period of time before it gets better. But I was listening to Country Roads on, just happened to come on the Old in the Way playlist as I was, and I actually was thinking of that, and I'll have a video. I took a video of it. I'll send it to you guys later. But I was trying to think of, well, these aren't country roads, and I was thinking of bumpy roads or like chunky roads or take me home. But that's what. So yes, sandy roads. That's what I'm dealing with down here. But so it sounds like Croton on the Hudson's got to get the old Department of Public Works out there, and let's patch those babies up.
And today, Jay, just for you, since I know you're sweating over there, today in Flushing, New York, temperature is 38 degrees, but it really feels like 28. Just
so cold.
Just thought I'd throw out there for our for those maybe for people like in Colorado say that's warm.
Yeah, right. Mike, what do you got for a temp there?
I don't know. Hold on.
You got a window? Open
40, it. 45.
Oh my God. Yeah,
it was cold this morning, or it felt cold this morning, because it was very windy last night all the way through this morning.
Yeah.
Like high gusts.
Yeah, so, we're 65 and cloudy here.
I have a big bucket upside down on my deck, and my daughter was eating breakfast, and we heard something, and the bucket was sliding across the deck. She's like, "Is that
on its own?"
She goes, "What's that noise?" I'm like, "It's the bucket. It's moving across the deck."
The bucket. You should have
Eddie,
done like that. The force, like.
Yeah.
I
Eddie,
told
I
you
gotta
not to
ask
fuck
you,
with me.
Eddie, when you ride out there, do you have any heated gear?
I have today. I wear a heated jacket because it's cold out there.
Right.
I have heated gloves. I don't have batteries for them. Long story. But yeah, that's all. A
Got the
jacket and
ham, got no
gloves.
burger.
The gloves you wear are they're not plugged to the jacket, or they're
No, they're the
batteries,
21 gloves with the battery.
or they have the rechargeable batteries inside, or yeah.
Well, they used to have batteries inside.
Okay.
Sans batteries. They are now just non-heated gloves.
They're just gloves.
Yeah.
I use gauntlet gloves with a charging battery. It looks like a little camera battery.
Oh, neat.
So I think that's maybe the same gloves that I have.
And I have a 3-finger setting on the top where it sets 3 temperature controls.
Oh
so
yeah, it's the Highway 21 ones, right?
Frick, do I know? I had them for
yeah. I think we have the same gloves.
I have another pair of electric gloves that I use that's connected to the vest. A wire comes out of my vest, and it's connected to the top of the glove, and a gauntlet short. So that's connected actually to the jacket, which the jacket is then connected to the to the bike there. So and I've tested out how I'm so enthusiastic to get off.
It's a lot of wiring.
I forget that I'm still connected.
Yeah.
Thank God these things.
Is it breakaway?
Have breakaway.
Yeah.
So when
Your
I
bike's
say,
dragging behind you.
So, but that's what we have to do. I mean, with that electric vest, all I wear is a t-shirt, electric vest, and then gloves. The gloves are different because, and I don't wear anything else. I mean, I have insulated pants and, maybe my Village People chaps there, but that's about it,
Yeah. I have a heated V-twin engine. I just hug that baby when I get cold and just lean down.
Sometimes that shit don't work.
Yeah, I'm learning. Yeah, I'm finding that out. I went to, but the weather, it's 65 here, and it's actually like, it feels like spring has sprung. I went to bike night on Thursday night. It was really nice out, and that was like everybody you talked to and you bumped into had that, like people saying things like, it's good to be seen, it's good to be out, like we finally got a break in the rain, like people are outside and riding around. And I saw some very cool bikes. I saw one that I thought I sent a picture, I posted. I thought it was a 41 flathead, and the guy who runs the service counter at the Harley dealership that I go to, he was at the bike night the other night. I saw him yesterday when I went to the Harley dealership, and I struck up a conversation about bike night, and I mentioned a few of the bikes that looked awesome, and he was like, "Oh, I was riding with those guys, those are my friends." And I'm like, who had that old 41 whatever it was, and it said 41 on the plate. It had like a California antique plate, so in the 41 I assume was the year. But what it actually was, it was a 45 Indian with like a 41 Harley flathead engine on it, or vice versa, something like that. Wow. It's like all Frankenstein, and the guy has Cannonball run it before. Horn on the seat, like the horn was like a squeak horn on the seat, and he's done the Cannonball run on it. So it was kind of neat. It's cool to see those stories.
Jay, next time you see at a bike rally, and I think Mike's going to smile at this one because we once talked about that, a Boss Horse motorcycle.
Boss Hoss.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say, right, Mike, do not say anything.
Do you mean Boss Hog, or is this something else?
No. All I'm gonna say to you guys, if you've never heard of that or looked at that,
Boss Hoss. Let me write this down.
That's all we're gonna say, Mike. Mike.
It's an expensive way to stretch your arm.
All right. I'll have to.
We'll leave that there for you, there, guys. Now I'm gonna play the Scott.
Yeah, let's get on to the meat of this.
You got half an hour into it.
Let's get into it.
I'm gonna give you a couple of questions, and because you're gonna be the guy, and we're gonna help you out here. I wrote down 3 things here.
Okay.
About your touring.
Talk
about time, distance, and money.
Let me just write that. Time,
distance, and money.
Elaborate.
Okay,
Maybe add to that. Maybe add to that weather.
Well, no. This is the basics we start, and then I'm going to break it down to other things for you. But
sounds good.
Time.
All right.
Time. As far as time, tell us, how long is this trip of yours?
Well, it just changed because originally it's going to be. Originally it was going to be leaving on Wednesday, traveling directly to Vegas. Stopping along the way, but traveling, as a straight a line as I can. Being in Vegas for a couple of days and then riding home, and then while in Vegas, possibly doing a day trip to go out to the Hoover Dam and Route 66 and all that. So that was the original plan. The weather, I have a quick update. The weather has changed. So it looks like Tuesday and Wednesday here in Southern California, like we'll say coastal Southern California, are going to be very wet. So basically from where I am, and remember I'm in the southwest corner of the country, to the north and northeast of me is going to be washed out. Vegas is northeast of me. So everything north and northeast is going to be washed out. So instead of waiting until Thursday when the rain passes and driving then and having less time on the road and less time in Vegas, I thought what I would do is leave tomorrow possibly and go due east into Arizona where there is no rain, go to Yuma basically,
Nice.
where there's no rain predicted, and I can hide out in the desert until the rain passes and then drive north up the Colorado River to Vegas. So my trip is now looking at, I'm going to have between Monday afternoon and say Wednesday afternoon to do whatever before I've got to be at the Excalibur Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas to greet mi familia.
This distance, what are we looking at in distance?
That's a good question. So straight there is about I think a 3 something. I think just under 400 miles. And if I go like in a it's like a right angle. Yeah, if I go like in an L, like if I go due east and then north, that'll probably add a little bit of distance to it, but not actually much, because it's really just like you're going one way takes you around the mountains to the north and east. The other way takes you around to the south and west and up. So that's basically the two options. So you're talking about probably 500 miles each way. Because I'm also going to do, if this pans out this way, like I'm going to take a couple of zigzags here and there, and what I might end up doing is if I go to Monday afternoon, if I leave tomorrow afternoon, I won't go too far into the night, but I can probably get as far west as, I can get as far west as Yuma, and then maybe stay there and just spend the night in Yuma, and then or possibly Havasaw City, but I've got to see how the weather is. And then from there, instead of going on Tuesday, maybe I go to like out into Arizona up to Seligman, where Route 66, the old Route 66 ends technically. I can take that back towards Vegas and the Hoover Dam and everything, and then make my way up to Vegas. So
now you do realize what the one question I'm going to ask you that you're going to pack, and I'm sure everybody else is patiently waiting to ask you about this, but you just said several times about, well, the weather is this,
yes,
and the weather is that. I'm going to wait.
Yes.
Well, sometimes you can't wait.
Right. This is a good question.
And I have in the first category of stuff that you have to consider is outer gear.
Yeah, so I want to ask that. So I do not own rain gear, straight up, and well, and here's the thing. So I have, and I have, if I got to purchase it, I have to purchase it. But I knew I was going to, this all changed like literally in the last 24 hours. And I was riding home yesterday afternoon I put some new foot pegs on. I went and took them for a test ride, and I was burning ass down the highway. And I was like, you know what? My things at my job, knock on wood, are a little slow right now. We don't need to get into that, but I have there's nothing going on this week. So I'm like, I already took 3 days off. Why not take, a couple more days off and just extend my trip and go early? And so this is I'm thinking through this less than 24 hours. So if I had to get, I have certain pieces of gear that will cover me, but I don't have so what would you recommend I do if somebody had to get rain gear that was relatively affordable?
You know what? Rain. The simple answer is you should get rain gear.
Can I cut a hole in a trash bag and put that over?
No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to get a big hefty bag. But as
That'll
Mike
be my
said,
way to Instagram stardom. The trash bag guy.
But you're gonna look. You always should have rain gear for that. I mean, I always have rain gear no matter what, even if it promises to be, because you don't know.
So what is rain gear? Tell me, what is it comprised of? Is it a one-piece suit, two-piece suit? Like, what would you guys?
You can get either. They'll come as
Mike,
a one
what would
piece
you
or
recommend? What, based on your experience?
It's much easier to work with than a one piece
That makes
because
sense.
you may only want to put the jacket on, but not the pants.
Right.
Sometimes you may only want to put the. Let's say like it's not raining anymore. There's a lot of water on the ground.
Yeah.
And you're getting hit in the legs from spray more than you are the body.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have rain gear, and 9 times out of 10, I'm lazy and I don't put it on anyway, because my mindset is like once I've gotten caught in the rain, I'm already wet, and I have to find a place to pull over and put it on. And unless there's like an overpass, you're putting it on in the rain. And if I'm heading home, I don't care that I'm wet. I'll just dry off when I get there.
Right.
And if I'm riding through the rain, I will air dry somewhat between when it stops raining and when I arrive at my destination.
Logical. Yeah.
But I mean, I'll tell you a story. When I was working in Manhattan, I got caught in the rain in the city, leaving the city. And I was like, all right, this sucks, right? You know, I'm wet, and it was cold. Well,
what time of year was
wet,
it?
it's even colder, right? So I was like, all right, if it rains again, I'll put the rain gear on. If it doesn't rain, I'm starting to dry already, and I'll just keep going home.
Right.
So sure enough, I'm damp now. I'm not quite wet, and it starts raining. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put because I'm cold. I'm like air chilled. So I pull over under one of the only 3 overpasses that I have on my trip.
Yeah.
And I put the rain gear on.
Crack addict leaps out of the shadows. It's on.
And I ride out from under my overpass, and it's not raining. And I stop. I'm like, what the hell? And I look. It was literally raining
on the other side.
On the other side of the overpass. And it wasn't raining on that side of the overpass.
Oh man.
And I was like, holy crap! I have never seen that before. Right? I mean, you're talking the space of 60 feet, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? So I left it on anyway because I was already cold, and I was like, if anything, the rain gear acts as a windbreak.
Yeah.
To keep the air from blowing across you.
Yeah.
So if you don't have like dedicated bike rain gear, you can wear a rain jacket, like something you would wear when you go for a run or something. That would also block the wind from pulling your core temperature down.
Yeah. One of the things that went with moving to the Southwest is I've divested myself of most of my wet and winter clothing. So, but yeah, that's Mike, I had the first time I rode in the rain, I had to go like maybe 3 miles from Liz had to go to the walk-in medical center because she got a cut, and it rained like while we were in there. I didn't even realize it, and so it's raining out. I got to go home, and just you guys will this is how stupid it is. I got home 2-3 miles, whatever that ride is. The fronts of my fucking legs were soaked and they hurt and they were cold, and I was like, I got a fucking problem if I ever get caught in the rain because I am delicate and I am uncomfortable. And
I mean, it does sometimes feel like when you're riding in the rain, it does feel like you're being
beaten up,
like peppered with bullets.
Well, what do you wear for rain gear? And I know you don't have a windshield, so what kind of rain gear do you have, Eddie?
Who has a windshield?
No, you don't have a windshield, so what kind of?
Oh no. I first of all, I love rain gear. I definitely recommend getting the Harley rain gear because it's got motorcycle rain gear is different. It's got a hood that you actually put under the helmet, which prevents the rain.
Oh, right, I got you. Like a baklava kind of thing, whatever. Is that what they call it? Or is that a dessert?
Like a hood. It's a hood.
It's a hood. It's a hood, and it can fit underneath your helmet with it, so that when the water hits you behind the neck, it just slides down. You know, when it slides off your helmet.
All right, so the bottom line is
down your back all the way to your butt.
Ooh, I don't like the sound of that. So basically,
I mean, the reason why it's good is because it's made for motorcycle riding.
Yeah.
The colors are really bright on it. You can pull the pants on easier on the road because they've got kind of zippers or snaps that expand when you're pulling them on.
Oh, okay.
Some of them have suspenders.
Oh, that's helpful. Yeah.
Suspenders. The men's have suspenders. The women's don't.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Is like those things they wear in Deadliest Catch.
For first of all, sometimes, I mean, I carry my rain gear. When I had rain gear, I need to get new rain gear.
With the
I
batteries.
I would carry it with me at all times, and wear it when I got cold and when it got dark, and I got scared of riding a little bit, because it's got neon colors generally. I mean, they come in all colors, but
Yeah.
whatever.
High vis, man.
And
I'm
and
all
the
for the high vis.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the third was for the rain. But yeah, I definitely recommend. I mean, the Harley set is I guess 100 and yeah, 100.
If it's
I can't
100 and
remember.
anything, it's going to be one of the more inexpensive Harley. That'll be it's affordable.
Think of it as an investment there, Jay.
Yeah.
They don't have too many different ones. It's just the rain suit that
Yeah,
you're looking
I
for.
am.
It comes
I'm
in
somebody
different colors.
I do err on the side of being prepared and over prepared
Yeah.
and over analyzing. So I was planning on seeing what my options were.
I mean, I'm sure they have other brands of rain gear, but I really do like the Harley. It's well
Yeah.
designed, and I
Yeah.
mean, for some reason they make the men's rain suits better quality than the women's, but the women's
That's
are
weird.
fine.
You know what? The women's
Very
jackets.
weird.
If we're gonna get into it, and since you brought it up, I have spent a significant amount of time in the last couple of months looking at different jackets, and the designs for some of the Harley women's jackets are much more eye-catching and modern looking in some cases. And then you see it's like a women's style, and it's like, well, I might be
They're
able to pull
made
that off,
for
but
backpacks. They're made for passengers more than riders. I've
I
noticed
didn't think
that
of that.
the
Yeah,
gear
gotcha.
is
Yeah,
it's different. It's lower quality.
that's not good.
It's less. There's less selection. It's more for like girlfriends or fans of Harley.
Accessories, yeah, yeah,
They
that's
have a
not
lot
good.
of good stuff, but the men's side has a lot more selection and better quality for some reason.
I'll have to check that out. Next time I'm in the store, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna feel around and check out and see if I can and peep into that, because it's definitely like, there's aesthetics for what is it, form versus function or something like that. Like, this is not an area where looking good is okay. It's gotta, like, I went there yesterday, and this is stupid, and I'm not shilling for Harley in this. I'm shilling for anything that is, that's worth buying. And I had a Suzuki, a smaller sport bike before this, that that was a bike made overseas that felt fine. But I bought these pegs on Instagram, these new foot pegs. They're solid as a rock. Like, you can feel it's like good solid steel, and it's like, for certain things that are aesthetics I don't really care about. But if I'm going to put my foot on something, like, I want to know it wasn't, I don't want to say, like, I don't want to start like, I want to know it wasn't made in China, or like somebody, like, it's not made from like somebody cut up a ship in Bangladesh and turned it into foot pegs, and it's good solid product. So there's certain things you don't want to chintz on, right? So I'll definitely,
Yeah. Plus a quality rain gear is going to fit you snugger.
A lot better.
So it doesn't end up being like a parachute when you're
Oh
riding.
shit, yeah, in the wind, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me give you a tip also. One quick tip in it. One of the things, obviously, when your hands are and it's raining, your hands are going to get cold. I
Yes.
know mine. I suffered from a lot of fingertip issues, and one of the tips that I usually tell people, I carry the surgical gloves.
Oh, yeah,
those latex
yeah.
gloves.
Yep.
Bring an extra pair of latex gloves. Put them
Okay.
in. It's cheap. It's cheap
That's
enough.
right.
And and you can always put on a leather glove over it,
Yeah.
and so you still have control. Yeah, it's wet, but your fingertips at least are still protected by that. And when you finish, you can just rip off the glove, and you still contain warmth, and it doesn't take up any space. And space is your premium, especially on your Sportster, or what you can carry. Everything.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going in there, Jay, because
You remember?
in there.
Yeah, you said time.
Remember you talked about the gloves, Carlos. Remember when we went to America? We came back. It was like torrential rain for 3 hours that we rode back in. And when we stopped, I had to take a little rest break on the side of the road there, and I take off my gloves, and my hands were as black as my jacket.
Holy
Because
shit.
all the dye had leached
All
out.
the
from
dye.
the water.
And
I thought I had gangrene for a second. I said,
What the hell's wrong with me?
It took like 2 days.
Holy
to get
cow.
stuff off my skin.
I'm going to
So,
derail us again. So gloves are another area where I have, like, the gloves I use right now. I bought a pair of Alpine Stars, mesh like summer weight gloves when I first learned to ride. Those are just still the same gloves I'm using. They're starting to get a little ratty. They suck in anything cold, like my hands freeze. So I've known that I need to get warmer gloves. I just with all the mechanical stuff, it's like, how much money can you spend, right? I haven't bought new gloves, but
the good ones cost $200 about.
yeah.
The battery the ones with the chargeable batteries that I have, I'd recommend
What
them.
about
They're
like in
really
a non-heated glove? Like I might get that eventually, but if I just wanted a good like four
those you
season
can get
glove
for a
or
lot.
Yeah,
You know what?
I like deerskin.
yeah,
The deerskin gloves are very comfortable. They stretch a little when they're wet, and then they reform. They'll reform to your hands actually better than when they're new.
really. Huh.
It's like a trick. Like when you get boots, a lot of times you soak your boots and wear them, and they'll shrink and conform to your feet.
Yeah.
The same thing with the gloves. That's another question is to go synthetic or go leather.
Yeah.
Each one has the pros and cons when you ride. Leather is you feel like you're wearing a suit of armor, but you have to take care of it. It doesn't deal well with the water, usually a lot of water.
Right.
Where synthetics tend to be water repellent and they're lighter.
You also have to
you
consider
have a broader range of temperature riding because of the vents, so you can ride like the synthetic jacket I have now. I kind of wear that all the time now instead of the leather.
Yeah.
It's good from like 40 degrees up to 80 degrees if I open up all the vents, as long as I'm moving.
Right.
I have a little, because I have like vents all over the jacket.
Right.
And basically it'll air you out as you drive.
Right.
But
what about touch screen?
Touchscreen? Well, you mean with synthetics?
Oh, no, sorry, I had to sneeze, but like that's like when you look at gloves, one of the common features you see now is can you use it with digital? Like, can you use it with the phone?
I mean, my summer gloves I use summer gloves that you can use with digital devices, and the winter gloves I don't ask too much from because I'm
my trike when I hit the radio. And I have electric gloves, they're really thick. I'm lucky that the screen is sensitive enough when I hit it and I tap it. But I agree with Eddie that normally I don't. Jay, I don't want to be the pain in the neck there.
We'll keep moving here.
I'm going to keep you in the categories there. So let's go back to outer gear. So we agreed that you're going to maybe try to get some rain gear because whatever it is going to be there.
Yep.
You're going to be late and you're going to have layered clothing. And I say layered clothing. I was in Sturgis. I did South Dakota. I did Wyoming, Montana, that whole area. And my friend said, don't bring any of your leather stuff. Just be layered, and you're going to layer. So I brought sweatshirts, a couple of sweatshirts. So think of your layering also. Yeah. So think of what kind of environment you're going. I put another category, innerwear. I don't know if you're going to be, like I say, innerwear as far as, well, your clothing is going to go with your family, or you want to be self-sufficient. You want to think about that. Because it's one thing riding and say, hey, honey, I'll see you in 150 miles. Another thing is, bye, honey, I'll see you 500 miles from now where you're out there buck-ass naked, on the side of the road.
Yeah, I want to be self-sufficient. I mean, I'm going to have like we're going to have some time at a casino, or I might swim in the pool and stuff. So if I have her pack my bathing suit, that might be fine. But part of what I want to be completely self-sufficient. I'm even considering camping if I can.
So think, which is my next category. Yeah. Innerwear, then you're going to be thinking about camping gear. Now, I can't comment about camping gear because I never was one that I did, much stuff, but there's enough. I mean, our friends, if we get them on there from Barcelona, they are true experts in having seen 44 states and using camping gear. They had really shown how to pack efficiently. Yeah. Which means in a rolled up method. Yeah. Not packing it, so being as tight as possible and having a type of backpack that would be like your
interesting a connection, that rolled up method. That's I learned that when I was on the road full time for work. You would be surprised how much shit I could fit in a carry-on.
And toiletries. Think about what you're again being self-sufficient. You're going to carry that roll of toilet paper, or or that toothpaste, or whatever. So think about that. Mechanical stuff. what sort of tools are you going to
Yeah.
be thinking? It's
All
going
the
to be
charging cables,
Yeah.
the
charging
adapter.
mechanical stuff, and of course, then I put it into the bucket of miscellaneous, from a light to wire to tie wraps to
Duct
maps
tape.
to duct tape. So that's my general
Yeah.
bucket list that you want to take a look at. And again, think of the time, the distance that you're doing, and then what sort of money are you allocating for yourself.
Yeah.
And you said it that last time also. The gas tank is going to determine
Yeah.
what you're going to travel. I don't know, you know well better than me, and whether you use an odometer
Yeah.
to say I can do 80 miles without worrying. But remember, you're in God's country now.
Yeah.
So if you use
Yeah.
this, I would probably be looking to top off anytime and every place I can go.
Yeah, of course. And I'm not somebody who I don't leave that kind of stuff to chance. I'm a bit neurotic about that as it is. And I'm not, we're not sponsored by them yet or shilling for them. But the Road Trippers app has been very useful so far in plotting gas stations, and not only like a gas station, like multiple gas stations and signs of civilization and things like that. So that's how I'm plotting my route right now. And basically, Scott, who couldn't be on today, is a meteorology genius. This is one of the things. Scott's a bit of he's a lifelong learner, and Scott went back to school just to college to learn about meteorology for fun. So we can make fun of him next time he's on. But I asked him, basically, how do I look at finding where the rain isn't going to be over the next few days in a region of the country? Like, which forecast should I look at? What's reliable? So he was able to help me kind of look at, some of those things and say, okay, here's where you can, try to go and try to get to without being. But he's definitely somebody who he was able to help me think of a few things that'll hopefully get me through this okay.
Jay, what I carry on my bike all the time, right? It's always on there.
Yeah.
My saddlebags. I have my rain gear, which I have rolled up, and the top and bottom piece in different Ziploc bags, so I could just pull one out and leave the other one in there.
Nice.
If I want to wear the jacket or the pants, right? So I have my rain gear. I have a headlamp, so that if I need to do something on my bike, I don't have to hold the flashlight. I can put it on my head while I'm doing whatever it is I got to do.
Yeah.
I have a bike pump, small bike pump that I think maxes out at 60 psi. So if my tires are low and I have a slow leak, I could put some air in it. Granted, it'll probably take me a little while because the pump's
That's a good one.
But it doesn't take up much space in the saddlebag, right? I carry a long sleeve t-shirt in a Ziploc bag in case I start out and it's hot and it gets cold. I can always throw a long sleeve t-shirt on if I don't have a coat. I have a water bottle, and I have the wire for jump starting the bike. That's
okay.
Like in my right saddlebag. My left saddlebag, I keep my neck gaiter, gloves, heavier and lighter. And it's basically like comfort clothing.
Right.
And then anything after that, if I go on a long trip, I'll put in a backpack and either strap it to my sissy bar, or I'll wear. And when you carry a backpack, I would tell you that put everything you want to put in the backpack in a plastic bag, so that if you get caught in the rain, everything in your backpack is going to stay dry. So whatever clothes you decide you're going to bring, let's say like socks, underwear, pants, if you're wet and soaked, you can change into something dry and finish the trip.
Yeah, I have a weekender, like a weekender bag that's got a rain cover for it that I can put on my sissy bar, so that's where I can stash my clothes.
You can use a hefty, put it all packed. Put the hefty.
Can I just tell you that I am, Mike, like just listening right now to what you have in your saddlebags. I don't know if this is like some weird, like I'm hesitant to say this, like if it's like some kind of weird voyeuristic quality I didn't know I had, but like knowing what people have in their bags, like I'm fascinated by like what people choose to put, like what they take, like what you value. And I noticed
and all
that
stuff is going to be what you have found you wanted at the time.
Right. And it's really,
so
that's like
a
really,
lot of people don't think about the air pump, but I've been on rides where guys had in the middle of the trip, they found out they had a low tire.
Yeah.
And like, oh, you know what? They had a bike pump. That's great. I got to start carrying a bike pump. Right?
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought of that if it, there's an Instagram ad for one of those that runs constantly. It's like this little your flat tire in the middle of nowhere. I saw that recently. It's probably something
they
similar.
have electric ones. I got the hand one just so that I wouldn't have to
deal with another freaking battery.
or have to remove my seat to get to my battery. So it's handy. I get out, I pump it a few times. I put the, granted, whatever made the tire flat, it's going to make it go flat again. But that 20 minutes of riding on a regular tire might be good enough to get you to a gas station or whatever. And that stuff's there all the time. I never have to think about it. So if I get cold, I'll throw on my long sleeve T-shirt. If it's raining, and I'm not lazy, I'll throw on my rain jacket. If I start out with light gloves and it's cold, I put my heavier gloves on, or I start out without the neck gaiter and I'll like, this is too cold, I got to put it on.
Yeah.
And it keeps the wind from blowing up into the helmet and down.
And
then anything beyond that is what you need for that moment.
Yeah. Like easily accessible.
And Jay, there's two things I want to add to that. Security.
Yep.
And I say security, you're locking up the bike.
Right.
Do you have a big chain lock combination, whatever? Just some sort of security thing, whether just to immobilize, whether it's an alarm, keep that in mind.
Yep.
And two, very important, I make it a habit. When I go into a dealership, if your bike breaks down right now in buttfuck nowhere, who are you going to call?
Yeah. I have roadside.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you have roadside assistance, is great. And that should be current and should be. But also go to dealerships. And
I have AAA. I don't mean to interrupt you. I have AAA too. But did we talk about this a couple weeks ago? That AAA doesn't work.
They didn't do bikes. The Sawmill River Parkway has like private contract. A lot of highways here have.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Can't come. They'll send that tow truck guy.
And they usually get reimbursed. Yeah.
I strapped it down, and halfway back to the place, the bike slid out of straps and landed on its side because he didn't strap it down right.
Oh Jesus!
So,
but you should try to see.
Yeah.
And I carry. Yes, I have the AAA. I have the roadside assistance, and I pick up cards at dealerships with guys that are saying I'm available 24/7, and you might ask to say, hey, I'm doing a trip to blah blah blah.
Yeah, the riding the riding club I'm a part of.
Just have as a backup.
Yeah.
To say that little card, because you don't give a crap who comes to get you,
right?
As long as somebody comes to get you.
Sensei, doesn't Hogs have roadside assistance?
But I've been in a situation where I was broken down side of the road. I had Hog roadside assistance. I had the AAA. And I said, the first guy who gets here wins. I didn't give a crap. I called, and then I ended up calling the mystery card I had of this guy that I picked that. He was 24/7. Guess who got to me first?
The card.
That guy, the guy in the card, the mystery guy who showed up in a beautiful trailer. He showed up, and I was concerned. I didn't care because it was going to cost me $175 just to take me to the station, to the garage. And they said, as long as you got a bill from the guy, we'll reimburse you. So they didn't care.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yes. So my attitude is better to have more, and like, as long as you tell, hey, Joe Schmo came first with his trailer, I call up the other guy, say, thank you.
Right.
Thank you. And
yeah,
it worked.
They're the riding club, the Southern Cruisers Riding Club, is the family friendly, all bikes welcome riding group that I've been riding with here in San Diego, and they have a thing called Eagle Rescue. The logo is it's like a little eagle and the thing there. They have a thing called Eagle Rescue that is like same kind of concept where it's like it's a very large organization. I'd never heard of it before until I came out here, but they exist all across the U.S., north and south, and so you can, same kind of concept where, you can call into this number and somebody like a local member will come right out and help you or something like that. So, but yeah, definitely know all of your roadside, have multiple options. This is like, if you're on a flight and the flight gets canceled or bumped or something, you got to be, on the phone, looking on the internet, you got to make sure you got multiple resources at your disposal, right?
I just want to add something,
Yeah.
Jay, to the list of things. Nobody mentioned a first aid kit.
Oh shit! Right, first aid kit. Yeah.
And then
I had that in the miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
I had that in the miscellaneous bucket along with flashlights and duct tape.
Anything else? I mean, is there anything else critical that we haven't mentioned? I mean, what do you guys think? I mean,
I don't know what's under Sensei's miscellaneous, but just like plastic bags, like
the Ziploc bag thing definitely.
Because for not just for everything you're carrying and yourself, but also like there are no motives. You're gonna need to put them on your feet when it gets really wet out there.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
little baggies work well when you put in you don't have any special water sock, but you collect those little plastic bags, put your feet into them, put it in your boot, and now you have a waterproof boot.
You're gonna thank us for that advice, and then you might sometimes need them on your hands. I mean, there's just plastic bags and Ziplocs.
And a shitload of Snickers bars thrown in there. Don't forget the Snickers bars.
Of course.
I have tons of
miscellaneous.
Those like Reese's Pieces and I've been.
But the hydration, like what Mike was saying about drinking.
Yeah.
You especially think about the temperature. Do you have right now on your handlebar any sort of drinking?
Yes, I got a cup holder. Oh yeah, that was one of the first things I installed.
So you got something already there, and hydration.
Yeah.
Know your body.
Yep.
Know your stamina. Know your endurance. Because I think I asked you last time.
Yeah.
What was the longest?
260.
260 miles
in a day over like 5 hours. Yeah.
Okay. So you got to read your body side.
Yeah.
Because if you start, if you're tired, if you've been putting back a few too many beers, et cetera, I mean,
wears you out.
The whole point of it is you want to be. You want to be somewhat coherent.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Mike.
I've never ridden in the desert, so I have no idea what to expect. But you could also, I don't know how hot it gets or how hot it'll be when you're going through now. But they, I know you ride bikes and bicycles also.
Yeah.
You jog. You could have a Camelback and strap it under your jacket.
I have one of those actually. I forgot about that. I have one.
And you could put it under your helmet and slowly sip as you're riding along.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I have a cup holder on my handlebars now, and it's nice, and it's also got like some netting around it, so I can keep like a few other things in there. And I usually have like a tumbler or something in there, and my helmet is such that I can drink. But I was thinking about it this week. I need one of those like tall like L-shaped straws like you have like a boxer would use or something like that, or like a foot like you see on like like something like that. But exactly. That's what I got to get. So beautiful. So I'm rocking the 30-ounce Yeti. This does not fit in the cup holder, although I probably could. But and that's one thing about like I have a tumbler without a straw in it, and it's like I think I told you guys like I should get some videos of this. If I hit a good enough bump or something like that on the highway, all of a sudden it's like spray over everything, and I'm catching some mist. I need the wipers, but I appreciate this. I know we're getting up to our time here, so I'll wrap it up and I'll get you guys on with your Sundays. And I really appreciate this advice. Here's what I'm gonna do. I am this afternoon. Newman, my weather guy, also, as I started to say before, I lost my train of thought earlier. He kind of told me what to look at, and basically one of the things I thought he shared was really good advice is that 48 weather forecasts 48 hours out tend to be fairly reliable. And like the National Weather Service or whatever, unlike your local news weather, like they won't put rain on the forecast if they're not sure it's going to happen. If it's fairly confident it's going to be there. So I'm going to plan my route this afternoon, and I will share it with you guys, so you guys can see what it's going to look like and where I'm going to be headed. And I mean that for the four of you, and also for all of our listeners as well. So that's what I've got. I'm going to be obsessively planning this trip and starting to pack my bike up this afternoon. I'll share some pictures of that too, because what else you guys got going on for Sunday afternoon, right? So besides me going to Vegas, I didn't get a chance to talk about Taylor Swift, but hopefully I'll have some
okay.
stories.
keep us wondering what will happen there. But going back to the
Yeah, tell her
weather,
I said hi.
I will. I'll let Tay
yeah.
Tay know. I know. I was thinking about like if I have a thing on the back of my motorcycle, it's just like bikers for Swift, or. And I'm not really a Taylor Swift fan. This is a bit of irony. I mean, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I hope my daughter didn't hear that. But go on. Sorry.
No, one thing you're talking about weather. I never was so scared in my life when I did the South Dakota and I was doing the Badlands with
Yeah.
my friend, and that's desert. I
Yeah.
mean, that is desert, and I'm there, and I see this. Just the horizon is all dark
Yeah.
and all dark, and I'm looking at my friend and I'm saying, "We don't have to go that way, do we?" And he says, "No, we don't have to." Good. He says, "But we really got to run fast this way to get out of it." And what he used, not the Weather Channel, but he used Wonderground. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to
Yeah.
suggest
Yeah.
anything more, but he impressed me with that. I did look at it and I did end up using it, and that's what guided us to go through all of these areas. Wonderground seemed to have a map system, a radar system that was very reliable, very good, and we were really staying on the edge. He says, "No, we can't go down. See where we're going? Let's go on this side to the east a little
Yeah,
bit and
I'm
bank
really
around."
surprised that this is not an app that exists. And I know we're at time. We can talk about this in an upcoming episode. But when I reached out to Scott, I talked to Scott about this a few weeks ago because my original inspiration was I was reading I think I told you guys the Wikipedia article on the Cannonball Run, and from that article, let's see, where is it here? From the wiki, this was the current record holder, and this is just a quote about the team that holds the current record. It says the team left early November ahead of Thanksgiving travel traffic and chose a route based on weather forecasts, which provided dry weather throughout the entire trip. So this is a group of people making a team making a trip in under 30 hours, right? That they have to plot a corridor. So it surprises me that there's not like a motorcycle or travel app like that basically says, tell me where the rain isn't going to be so that I can plot a course through that. Hopefully there's a lane that I can find or something. Anyway, we could save that for another episode, but that's essentially what I'm trying to do with my trip, and we'll see how successful or unsuccessful I am. I'm weighing my options. If am I gonna like stay at until I get to Vegas? Am I gonna grab a room at a Hampton Inn, or am I gonna find I looked at a couple of campgrounds, one on the water in Lake Havasu looked pretty cool, and we'll see how that works out. But I will let you guys know. Anything big going on for the week for everybody else besides my trip to Vegas? What's going on?
I'm prospecting for the Litas.
What does that mean? Tell us about it.
It's a female motorcycle group.
Oh, congratulations! Oh, that kind of prospecting, right? Congratulations, good for you. That's awesome. Hey,
I'm meeting them on Tuesday for the first time.
Oh, I'm trying to see if I have a copy of it. I don't have it in sight here, but maybe I do. Have you seen it's a book called the I'll send it to you. It's about prospecting, and the Prospects Bible. Here it is.
Oh, what?
I'm not in a motorcycle club, nor do I aspire to. But part of the reason why I wanted to start this show, and we haven't done a lot of episodes on this, is I'm fascinated by motorcycle culture. And one of the things that I found that was recommended was this thing.
Oh, shoot. I need that.
Yeah, and he's got a number. He has them for like the sergeant at arms, the different roles that you have, and like
neat.
Safety officer and all that. And it's interesting because he does a really good job of like treading the line of and again I think treading the line of there's the only the 1% clubs kind of make the rules and everybody else has to follow them, and you don't have to do anything, but that kind of this guy does a good job of kind of walking the line of not getting into that whole kind of like debate and just saying like this is if you're going to be in a group, this is how a disciplined group should work and how you should. And also he does a really good job of talking about like the things you should avoid. Like if you see this, if you find that, like run like hell. So anyway, I'm not chilling for them.
Cool. Thanks
I will.
for the tip.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Check it out. So congratulations, good for you. What else?
No, congratulate me when I'm a member.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well,
what's the prospect time? What's the waiting time on you?
I believe it's 2 rides and a meeting and an event.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, it's easy. It's a female club, so I think they're trying to make the threshold lower to join.
Yeah, there are tons of female riding clubs in San Diego.
I don't have to kill anybody.
Yeah, you don't have to kill them, and you don't have to wash 25 bikes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right, exactly. No. We just need you to take this suitcase with you on a flight.
Take this trip to Mexico.
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly. Just drive this car over the border. So what about you, Mike, Carlos? You guys got anything going on this week?
No, I got
same old.
Got a PGR mission tomorrow. Going to be doing that, so that'll be good. A couple of these missions coming up this week, so we're going to be busy with that.
Awesome.
Otherwise, it's all good stuff.
Awesome. And Mike, I don't know if you included it on your. I did get some pictures from Mike. We got to put together some more photo work for the crew here. I accidentally nuked one of my web projects this week, so I got to catch up on that this afternoon too and get that stuff published. But in addition, I need your T-shirt size, Mike, if you didn't send it. And Eddie, I need your T-shirt size as well too.
Oh, I did not.
This marks your, after your third, I think, appearance on the show. Now officially part of
nice. Mine is XS as in snail.
I got it. All right, cool. Very good. Very good. So I really. Again, I'll let you guys get on with your Sunday afternoons. Thank you so much for the extra time, and really thank you for the advice. I really, really appreciate it. And just listening to your experiences and Mike, like talking through what you've got in your saddlebag, like that's like a check. I can, I really kind of gobble that stuff up in terms of how I learn, which is why I wanted to do this. So I thank you guys so much. I hope that you all
have fun on your trip.
Yes, thank you. Have a fantastic weekend or rest of your Sunday.
Thank you. You too.
Right on.
Tell Taylor that the restraining order is almost expired. I'll be saying hi.
Yeah, I'll be like, I'll have a sign. Mike says hi. 29 days left before we can be together. And with that, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. Thank you so much. Ride safely. Namaste.
Bye.
Cheers.
Hello, everybody.